Gaming has gotten so stale. The other day I ran into a friend that I used to play games with all the time, and he asked me, he was like, hey, so what are you playing recently? And I realized that a lot of people ask me that question, and for a while I've been replying the same thing, and I haven't necessarily been enjoying what I'm playing. It's like League of Legends, Valorant, TFT, the Riot Gambit, I guess. And a lot of the times they just agree with me. They're like, oh yeah. Sometimes they throw in like, oh, I'm playing Grand Theft Auto Online. I'm doing role playing. Or they say, oh, I don't play online multiplayer games anymore. I've switched to just doing like solo games. But I haven't really heard anything new lately. This video is basically just going to be a little exploration into that, into why I think that gaming is stale, into what I think the problem is. I'm going to show some statistics because that's what I do for a full-time job. So maybe that will help support my argument. And hopefully by the end of this, we can have a discussion in the comments about your opinion on it, whether you think gaming is stale or even just what are you playing? Give me ideas. Please give me a new game to play. So it used to be in the past that when you made a sequel to a game, it had to have something new to it. I think back to like Grand Theft Auto 5 and how the addition of that huge online multiplayer world was insane. Nothing had been done like it before, and it made everybody want to get the game who hadn't played Grand Theft Auto, and if you had, you were blown away and you sunk as many hours as you could into the game. I think back to like when Black Ops was released, and it was so different from Modern Warfare, not only in its feel, but also in that they had added a zombies game mode, which, as you know, just took off. And I feel like too, when you had new systems released, you tried to push that system to the edge of its capability. Whether that's even with Nintendo, like with Pokemon, when they released X and Y, I believe it was, the game went from being top down to being this 3D world that you could walk around in. And I remember being blown away by that. Grand Theft Auto was another great example of that, in that the open world that they had created with as close to real in a video game as possible environment and people. Essentially, they had created their own little world, and there was nothing like it, and it felt more realistic than anything in the past, and it was awesome. If you tried playing Grand Theft Auto on the 360, it was a pain. But with the new hardware capabilities that the new Xboxes and PlayStations provided, the game was amazing. And I don't feel like there's that motivation anymore in gaming. As far as hardware goes, I don't think the PlayStation 5 or the, what was the Xbox's name? What was the new Xbox? The Nintendo Switch is kind of a step back, or at least a step in the same, like, it's standing still compared to the Wii U, I believe. Regardless, I don't feel like it really increased the performance at all. I feel like it was just reskinning a pre-built computer that was minimum specifications for maximum output. It went from trying to beat your competitor to like a mutual agreement with your competitor to like not increase. But regardless, I feel like all of these things have made gaming stale. I feel like sequels no longer have to contribute anything new. I feel like now sequels are literally just reskinning the same game, adding new skins that people can buy, and then tossing it out. I should probably clarify then when I use the word reskinning, because it's essentially just even reselling the same old skins. But back in the day when Overwatch released, that was like a new type of game that like blew our mind, and I remember sinking countless hours into it. I think back to Destiny, I think back to Call of Duty Zombies. Even when Minecraft was released in the early 2010s, I remember being blown away. I mean, this was new and it was incredible. And I don't feel like there's been anything new or incredible or extremely impressive since then. I'm not saying there hasn't been good games. Elden Ring is a great example of a game that so many people love and are satisfied with, and that looks amazing and plays amazing. But everybody accepts that it's pretty much the same as others before it. Call of Duty went from needing to add new game modes or mechanics to now it's just like, hey, we added a new campaign and a battle royale, so it's a new map, and have fun, enjoy. And then they've started adding old maps. We reskinned it and you can buy it as an expansion. It feels like now even developers are just stuck. When the battle royale bubble hit, it was like Fortnite, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or PUBG Battlegrounds, H1Z1. Heck, Minecraft started it all with the Hunger Games. We had a bunch of different battle royales that looked and felt completely different from each other. So you were able to play all the different ones within this game mode. But now it just feels like it's seasonal and nobody's creating new games. It's like, look, we got a new deal with Naruto and here's the skins for the season. Basically, rather than being focused on creating new games, they're focusing on creating new seasons to sell you new cosmetics that don't change the game. And that lack of drive, that lack of innovation, I feel like has just not only made the developer stagnant, but it's made us as players less passionate. passionate. Then as it pertains to streaming, for those of you that don't know, I stream every Saturday on Twitch after video goes live at noon Central Time. I feel like I can't stream games anymore. And I know a lot of streamers feel that way. So I decided to pull some data. I've taken the top 10 games based on their watch time by the millions, and I've graphed it out here. So here's 2016. League of Legends had the most watch time of any game on Twitch, doubling that of Counter-Strike. Look at this. You had a MOBA in the top, then you had a shooter, then you had a MOBA, then you had a card game. I don't know if you can call Overwatch a shooter. Then you had an MMO, Minecraft. You still had like a good variety of different games that people really wanted to watch because they themselves were consumers of that game. It makes me laugh that like talk shows and podcasts are on there. I think that's because there wasn't an IRL yet. Then you move into 2017 and it's still that League of Legends. You've got the Battle Royale, PUBG released that year. You recognize a lot of these games, but then you have Grand Theft Auto 5 break into the mix. You have IRL content booming a little, but you're starting to see that like, oh, okay, it seems like it's a little bit of the same. All of a sudden, Fortnite, who wasn't in there the year before in 2018, is the #1 watched game, beating out League of Legends by a huge margin. And then you've got a lot of the recurring themes, your Grand Theft Autos, your World of Warcraft. You see that once something breaks in, it's hard to get it out of the top 10. But games were incentivized to break in with something new. In 2019, you have Apex Legends come in. Apex Legends is another Battle Royale. I don't necessarily attribute that to trying something new. It was just people were getting tired of Fortnite and of PUBG, and so they decided to go with another Battle Royale. It didn't really do anything incredibly new, but the key thing I want you to take away from 2019 is look at just chatting suddenly creeping up here. It's the third most watched thing on Twitch. Move into 2020, and suddenly just chatting is the most watched thing on Twitch, beating out League of Legends, beating out your Fortnite. There's nothing really new here. I mean, Valorant was new. They did try something new with a new CSGO type game, and that was able to break it into the top 10, but it didn't have that same power. It didn't break into the top 3. It broke in and it did very well. I'm not shitting on Valorant. Again, it's one of my most played games. But just chatting went from being something that was not really on the top 10, or IRL content was in the top 10, but it was in the lower 5s, to suddenly being the #1 seat. Enter 2021, where just chatting beats Grand Theft Auto 5 for the most watched thing on Twitch by a long shot. Grand Theft Auto is only there because role-playing got extremely popular in 2021. You had some of the biggest streamers streaming it all of a sudden, and that's what took that game up. It wasn't anything the developers did. It was what the individual people online created servers and used their, I guess, probably lack of new games to create a new space and a new type of game mode within a game that they love. But you'll notice there's not really anything new here. I think Warzone might have been new, and that was just Call of Duty's Battle Royale. But you're seeing that it's getting stale. It's just, you see it. People don't even want to watch the games anymore. They want to watch whatever people are doing on just chatting, which is React content, which is IRL stream. Twitch is becoming less of a gaming website and more of a live streaming website, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. It's just in the context of this discussion where I miss gaming and where gaming isn't feasible, and I think that's because it's getting stale. It's kind of pointing to that I'm right. This is the data for this year as of February. I know you're wondering where Elden Ring is, but it was, I think, number 13 on the top most watched games this year. Lost Ark is in there. I'm sure a lot of that is attributed to the fact that it was a new MMORPG. Asmongold returned streaming it. I don't know if you were there. I was there. It was fun to watch. So if you call that something new, something fresh, it broke into the top 5, so I'm hopeful. Escape from Tarkov, something entirely new, broke into the top 10, but it's not in that top 5 seat. I'm hoping that these statistics are pointing to the fact that 2022 is going to be the year that we finally do something new. It's going to be the year that developers refine their passion, and rather than caring about getting people to spend money on this new season, they're going to be focusing on doing something new, adding new mechanics, game modes, giving us their passion so that we can be passionate too. I decided to graph out what games were new to the top 100 in their respective year. In 2016, there were 31 new games in the top 100 most watched games on Twitch, going down to 19 in 2017, 18 in 2018, 18 in 2019, and then at 14 in 2020 and 2021. You can see it trending down. It's way harder for new games to break into that top 100, let alone the top 10. However, in 2022, we already have 22 new games. This could go down, however. If people continue to watch the key games that they've typically been watching in the prior years, that will boost those watch times up and some of these new watch times down. Very fortunate at the beginning of 2022, we've had a lot of cool new concepts that have been driven by a lot of bigger content creators to a wider audience. I'm very hopeful that in 2022, we're able able to find new games that we like. Phrasing it that way, however, seems like it's a problem on us. I feel like it's a problem in development. I feel like developers aren't incentivized to create new games, and they're not as passionate about creating the games or maintaining the games that they've already created. I hope that 2022 continues to trend differently. I hope that we get back to creating something new because you love it or because you want to see this new thing that you are passionate about thrive. By the way, for those of you wondering where Among Us was on any of those graphs, Among Us, which was a cultural sensation in 2020, was only able to get up to the 11th spot on the top 10 most watched games on Twitch. I don't know how we continue this discussion. I don't know how to make an impact or a change. I hope that developers and studios get back to creating games that they love, not games to make them the most money. And I know that that's just a hope because their job is to make them money. But for the sake of my enjoyment, for the community's enjoyment, and for the conversation, that's my stance. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you feel like gaming is getting stale? Or have you found some niche that's about to pop off that I need to be aware of? Please let me know. If you enjoyed this video, thank you so much. I know it's a little bit different from what we typically do. It's a little bit more conversational like some of my videos have been lately. And if you like this format, please also let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to like and subscribe. Chances are I'm live right now on Twitch as you're watching this. I'm live after I release a new video on Saturdays at 12 Central. That being said, as always, I still don't know how to end a video, so I guess just peace.